I also had 28-inch hair, but that does not mean that my hair was healthy. My hair was thin, frail, breaking off. You can literally see through my ends here. I thought that just because my hair was touching my butt that I literally had the world's best hair, until I started learning about retention instead of length, thickness instead of length. All of the tips that I'm recommending, I've personally tried and implement myself, and it's to help people that do need help, that have hair starting like this. I was able to transform my hair from this to this to eventually this. So yes, you may have long hair, but implementing these tips can help improve the overall health of your hair. You can work on length and thickness, reduce breakage, split ends, thinning, and improve the retention of your ends. Welcome back to 75 Hard Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 3, and the topic is protective sleep styles. Before bed, no matter what, I'm going in with a leave-in conditioner on my ends to help protect them, nourish them, and hydrate. Then I throw it in a loose braid or a heatless curler set. The reason this is recommended is because for 8 or more hours a night, your hair is being rubbed against your pillow as you toss and turn and move, causing friction, which can lead to mechanical damage, even if you're using a silk pillowcase. So sleeping in a protective style like this does exactly as the name suggests and protects your hair as you're sleeping. There are so many options available, like silk scrunchies, sleepy ties, heatless rollers, pillow curlers, overnight blowouts, silk or satin bonnets, or even headscarves. Follow for more tips. Welcome back to the 75 Hard Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 4, and today we're talking hair masks. Weekly, bi-weekly, or even monthly hair masks play an integral role in your healthy hair care routine because it can provide extra nourishment. Depending on what your hair needs, each mask is formulated different depending on whether you need to moisturize, hydrate, nourish, enhance shine, smooth frizz, strengthen hair, reduce breakage, improve manageability, etc. And while this won't actually speed up the hair growing process, it does help in the long run because it's protecting your ends, preventing them from becoming dry, brittle, damaged, split, and ultimately breaking off at the hair shaft, causing you to lose length on your ends. When you lose length, even though your hair is growing from your root, you're not going to notice overall growth because your ends are breaking at a rate faster than your roots can grow. My tips whenever using hair masks is to first wring out and remove any excess water so that the product can actually penetrate and isn't as diluted. Next, I like to clip it up in a claw clip for 3 to 10 minutes to give it time to actually absorb as I wash my face and body. And lastly, I like to put conditioner over top of my hair mask to help seal in all of the benefits. Welcome back to the 75 Hard Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 5, and today we're talking about shower temperature. Although there are no definitive studies on hot water causing hair loss or cold water closing the cuticle, the temperature of the water you use during your shower plays a significant role in the health and appearance of your hair. This is because the temperature of your water can affect your scalp, which in turn affects your overall hair growth and health. Excessively hot showers can slow hair growth and harm the scalp by stripping its natural oils, leading to dryness, brittleness, flakes, frizz, or even irritation. Oppositely, shampoo doesn't lather quite as well in cold water since it can't remove natural oils as effectively as warm water, and cold temperatures can actually constrict the scalp's capillaries, reducing blood flow, which is needed for healthy hair growth. Plus, I'm sorry to say that the myth of cold water closing your cuticle to make it less frizzy and shiny is exactly that, a myth. This may very well be anecdotal research, and if it works for you, amazing, but water itself can open and close a cuticle through absorption, swelling, and pH, not temperature. Instead, I suggest lukewarm water to give an effective clean without irritation and focusing on products and ingredients for frizz and shine. Welcome back to the 75 Hard Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 6, and today we're talking about brushing your hair when it's wet. There are literally so many different conflicting opinions online on whether you should or should not brush your hair whenever it's wet, but honestly, just do what's best for your hair type. Like literally, just do what's best for you. I will forever be a brush your hair when wet girly, but you have to do it correctly. First, this means choosing a brush that is meant to be used on wet hair. Whether that looks like a wide tooth comb for you, a wet brush, tangle, teaser, whatever it may be, whatever works for you is great as long as its sole purpose is to be used on fragile wet hair. My personal favorite is this wet brush here because not only are the bristles super gentle and can bend and move as I brush, so does the brush itself. Like it literally can bend and move with the actual tugs in my hair so that it's absorbing some of the impact. Next is a detangler, always. Even if I'm not brushing, I'll go in with the detangler just to prevent knots. Next is to start from the bottom. Like I said, when your hair is wet, it's in its most fragile state. So starting from the bottom allows you to work through the knots slowly as you get to the top, instead of brushing from the top, pulling all of the knots down to one mega knot at the bottom. I also like to hold the brush vertically so more bristles can pass through, and hold your hair when brushing so there's less tug on your scalp. Welcome back to the 75 Hard Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 7, and today we're talking about scalp massages. Now, Lord, I do not know why I cut my hair so short. These little pieces do not fit in any ponytail, bun, claw clip, nothing. So we need to step up our hair growth game because these are just not my favorite, and then they stick out and look like wings. So, as a daily task, a part of our 75 Hard Challenge, it is doing a 5-minute scalp massage daily. Not only can it exfoliate the scalp and reduce stress, it also promotes blood flow to the scalp, which can lead to denser hair and even thicker individual strands. If you want a free option, you totally can go in with your hands, but if you're like me that struggles with oily hair, I don't suggest touching your hair every single day and instead use an actual scalp massager. Whether you use your hands or this massager, make sure to be gentle on your scalp and to prevent knots, lift in between moving sections. So I will do tiny little circular motions, lift, and move on to the next one instead of dragging the massager through my hair. I like to do this at nighttime just to unwind before bed, set my timer, or listen to music for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever feels comfortable to you. And I just work my way around in tiny little circular motions. Further studies need to be done on the effect of mechanical stimulation in terms of hair growth, but a 2019 study of 340 participants with androgenic alopecia who performed daily scalp massages for 11 to 20 minutes per day for 6 months reported less hair fall and more hair growth in 68.9% of participants. And a small study in 2016 concluded that standardized scalp massages increased hair thickness over a 24-week period. That's actually so cool and really promising, especially because I thought the thickness of your individual strands was genetic. So I'm really excited to see future studies and what we can accomplish in 75 days. Welcome back to the 75 Hard Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 8, and today we're talking about leave-in conditioners. Consistently applying leave-in conditioners is one of the best ways to moisturize, protect, and prevent damage. In my opinion, it's one of the best products you can have in your hair care routine, and I truly believe that every single person can benefit from one. Not only can it help moisturize hair, seal in hydration, strengthen hair, repair damage, control frizz, increase manageability, and add slip to make detangling easier, but it can also prevent and protect against heat and environmental factors if it contains heat or UV ray protectant ingredients. I use a quarter to loonie size amount depending on the length of my hair, and as an oily girl I only apply ears down, then I brush to evenly distribute. Welcome back to the 75 Hard Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 9, and today we're talking about shampooing twice. When shampooing your hair, I like to think of it like cleaning your floors. You wouldn't go straight into mopping without first sweeping to pick up the bigger debris. This is what your first wash does. It goes in and removes all of the bigger debris, such as products in your hair, oil treatments, environmental pollutants, buildup, anything like that. This wash typically doesn't get as sudsy as you can see, and it almost feels like as soon as you put the shampoo on your scalp has completely eaten it up. Like, look, I literally have no soap on my hands. Then we rinse and go in for wash number 2. This is when the actual cleansing happens of your scalp and hair of any dirt, oil, sebum, pollutants, things like that. And as you can see, you get a much better lather with your second wash. And this would be like mopping your floor. So now that the broom has picked up any of the bigger items, your mop is actually going in and cleansing the floors. Look at the difference in lather. I literally have so much excess soap. If you use styling products, struggle with greasy, oily hair, or feel like you have a waxy film buildup, or even dull, flat-looking hair, you can benefit from shampooing twice. Welcome back to the 75 Hard Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 10, and today we're talking about detanglers. Detanglers are a great way of reducing and preventing mechanical damage because it provides slip for your hair to make combing easier and helps detangle knots and tangles. Although it won't help your hair grow faster, it does help prevent healthy hair from being ripped out from the scalp and minimize breakage on your ends, which will help the retention and length of your hair. Not only are they great at preventing tangles, but they also have the same conditioning benefits as a leave-in conditioner to help prime and smooth your hair cuticle, which can make the hair more manageable and minimize friction while you're brushing. I like to use detanglers even when I'm not brushing my hair, just as a preventative measure, and when doing my curly girl routine, I use it as a curl refresher to prevent my curls from knotting. Welcome back to the 75 Hard Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 11, and today we're talking about wringing out your hair. Before applying hair masks or conditioner, make sure to remove and wring out any excess water in your hair. If your hair is too wet, the product can slide off and can't penetrate or coat the hair fibers as effectively. Squeezing out the excess water will allow your hair to soak up the conditioner or hair mask, and as a result, will get the necessary moisture, nutrients, and ingredients to keep your hair healthy and shiny. Welcome back to the 75 Hard Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 12, and today we're talking about tight hairstyles. With the rise of the clean girl aesthetic, tight hairstyles and slick back buns have become increasingly popular, but I'm here to remind you to give your scalp a break. The constant pulling and stress on your scalp from wearing your hair in sleek or tight hairstyles daily can cause your hair to break off, fall out, or in extreme cases lead to traction alopecia. You can combat this by alternating and changing the hairstyles that you wear daily, changing where your ponytail or bun sits on your head, whether that be a low, mid, or high pony or bun. This changes what area of your scalp has tension on it whenever your hair is pulled up, and alternating it can give different areas of your scalp a break. Lastly, you can just ditch the tight style altogether and swap it for an alternative of like a claw clip or something that would give you the same look of your hair being pulled back, but in a more gentler way. Welcome back to the 75 Hour Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 13, and today we're talking about temperature. Frequency and how often you use hot tools plays a major role in thermal damage, but I think people underestimate how much of a role the temperature of your hot tools plays when it comes to thermal damage. When it comes to hot tools, opt for one that allows you to customize the temperature so that you're in control of how hot it is. I also suggest adjusting the temperature based on the texture and thickness of your hair. For thin, fine hair or hair that's brittle and prone to breakage, it's recommended to stay between 200 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, and for thicker, more coarse hair, you can increase from 300 to 380 degrees Fahrenheit. Even with proper heat protection, your hair can be damaged at anything above 400 degrees, and there's really no need for your hot tool to be that high. Welcome back to the 75 Hour Challenge Hair Care Edition, where I give you 75 tips over 75 days while we grow out our hair. Today is day 14, and today we're talking about sleeping with wet hair, or should I say, avoiding it. The more I researched this topic, the more I came across old wives' tales where older generations believed that sleeping with wet hair can cause blindness or insanity. But regardless of whether those tales are true or not, there are other reasons why you should avoid sleeping with wet hair. First, your hair is in the most fragile state whenever it's wet, so going to bed with wet hair is exposing your hair to 8 or more hours of friction, rubbing, tossing, turning, all that kind of stuff in a weak state, which is going to lead to mechanical damage. And secondly, it can be damaging to more than just your hair, as it increases your risk for scalp infections. Excessive moisture can cause mold or mildew growth, and going to sleep with wet hair creates a warm, moist environment which bacteria and fungi thrive in. Don't get me wrong, I love my nighttime showers and was notorious for going to bed with wet hair. It made my hair dry flat so it wasn't as frizzy, and I could go to bed right away, which meant I got more sleep. But since I started air drying or even lightly blow drying on the cool setting before bed, I've been able to extend my wash days because my hair doesn't get as greasy as quickly, and I've noticed less breakage and less frizz. Welcome back to 30 Days of Healthy Hair Tips. Today is day 13, and today we're talking about the most important part of hair health and growth, and that's your scalp. Here are my 4 favorite things to do to improve your overall scalp health. The first is oil treatments. I do this about once a week. Either I let it sit overnight or right before I shower. I cover my whole scalp in my favorite oil and let it sit. The second thing I do is scalp massages. Now, I do this because it helps my oil distribute evenly over my scalp, but you can do this on dry hair as well daily. Scalp massages help blood flow and blood circulation to your follicles, which increases growth. You can just gently use your fingers or a scalp massager from Amazon similar to this one. Next is to use customized shampoo and conditioner specific to your scalp type and hair goals. And lastly, exfoliating the scalp. Just like the skin on your face, the skin of your scalp needs to be exfoliated too. This removes any dead skin cells, product buildup, oils, sebums that might be clogging your follicles. This one has a grainy texture that when you massage into your scalp turns into a shampoo, so you're cleansing your scalp and your hair at the same time. Welcome back to 30 Days of Healthy Hair Tips. Today is day 14, and today we're talking about the second most important part of hair growth, and that is your ends. Although your hair does grow from your roots, the length and thickness of your hair is largely determined by the health of your ends. This is because the lengths of your hair can actually thin out or even break off completely if you don't deal with or prevent damage, breakage, split ends, things like that. There are 4 different types of damage: thermal, chemical, mechanical, and environmental. Here are my favorite ways to prevent damage. The first is hair oiling. I always preach hair oiling for a healthy scalp, but don't forget to bring it down your end. Next, a microfiber hair towel for wet, damp hair, or a cotton t-shirt with a detangler. Your hair is very fragile when it's wet, and preventing damage is easier than repairing. Next, using a wet brush and gently brushing your hair. Again, your hair is extremely fragile when wet. Next is a post-shower routine. My favorite product is a leave-in conditioner to help nourish your ends, hydrate, and protect them. Look for ingredients that are not only going to repair your hair, but also protect them. This leave-in conditioner contains a heat protectant, split end mender, and a UV protector to protect from environmental damage. If your leave-in conditioner doesn't contain heat protection, make sure you're using a good quality heat protectant before using any heat on your hair. Avoid any silicones, parabens, or waxes, or things that will actually heat up whenever touching the hot tool. Introduce more heatless styles to your routine to give your hair a break and prevent future thermal damage. And lastly, don't be afraid to frequently trim your hair, or if you have a lot of damage, commit to a big chop. I know it might be scary losing a lot of length off your hair, but if you're holding on to damage, you're ultimately going to lose length from your hair breaking off anyways.